All right, harvesting worm castings part 2. Showed I got the 2 bins with holes drilled all through them, all 4 sides and the bottom. I feed one at a time. When it's done, or most of the way done like we see here, is black rich gold for us. I begin feeding on the top with another one. As those worms slowly harvest themselves, this one finishes itself off, and the worms harvest themselves up in the new bin. This was the top bin. I've explained how I pull that back and start feeding in there now, putting a carbon source on top, which is the wood chips, so they don't get a stink from the nitrogen source, which is those green food scraps. So now that that one's been going along for a while, a few weeks now, I'll have it on the bottom. I've harvested these. Where they came from will go on the top. I'll add a little bit of compost from the hot compost in there. Not necessarily. You can use cardboard ripped up, newspaper, lots of different options on that. To get started, just need a carbon source to put them in, a bedding, and start feeding from there. You'll see there's lots of wood scraps in here that I'll need to sift out if I use it in certain ways, or I can just top dress. But that's because I put that carbon source on top whenever I feed it. So when I put the food scraps in a corner, I'll pull a corner back, put food scraps in, and cover it with that carbon source to keep the stink down. So now that I put these little mounds in here, this is phase 2. I've harvested, dumped it in here, built mounds. Any worms that remain in there will be right on the tops of these. I'll pull these caps off and there'll be a pile of worms. I don't understand why, I just know it happens. I learned it years ago from reading somewhere or viewing somewhere. Anyways, so that'll be stage 2. I've dumped them out, built little mounds. That'll get the remainder of the worms so I can add them back to that compost. And now I'll start that top compost and get it going for food scraps moving forward. I'm George, Phat Foodforest. Change can be better than a holiday. Peace.